Hello, beautiful Leos. Happy New Year to you. Happy 2020. My name is Joanna the Medium. Welcome to Team Joanna, as we are calling ourselves lately. I really like that. These are going to be messages for the next upcoming month or so. Keep in mind, it may not be experienced in January. Some of you, you may already experience this in the last little while. But chances are, if it doesn't make sense to you right away, listen to it down the road. Okay, without skipping a beat. I feel like I'm running, like I'm constantly running. And this is an energy that I am picking up from some of you. Now, we have just had busy holidays. So some of you, most of you probably experienced a lot of busyness. So that makes sense to me that you have been busy and you're on the run. But this feels more like a familiar frequency. Like I get it. Okay. Like a familiar feeling. So it's not so much to do with being on the run because there is something going on temporarily. It almost feels like it's being on the run all the time subconsciously. So what does being on the run mean? It means we are running away from something. Why would we ever want to run away from anything unless it was fear? So, very interesting start. Let me first state my intention, and that will help you make more sense of the information that I am channeling. My aim or my intention is to help you heal yourself. What is healing? Healing is return to balance. So my aim is to give you information from sources other than our brain that has the ability to transform your life through the way you think and you feel, through changing your perspective that shifts your vibration. That is what my intention is. In other words, my intention is help you come to more of a balanced state within yourself, which will then align you with more balanced things or people outside of you or in your life. That is what my intention is. Now you ask yourself what your intention is with listening to this information, because based on what your intention is, you will either hear a message or you will not hear the message. Doesn't mean the message is not there for you to hear. It just means you're going to be looking for something very different than what I am offering to you. And I think you're the second sign only that I was being asked to explain this process, this specific way. And there's a message in it for you. There's a message in it. And it's message around intention. Okay? How do I describe the month of January? More or less, January, February. I want to say the word busy, but it's mind busy. And again, I'm feeling your energy, most of your energy being on the go. However, what I'm also seeing is I am being stopped. Life puts something in front of me and in a way that I'm not able to move forward until I understand something. So some of you may experience the proverbial stuckness. You may come to a point where you feel stuck. And this stuckness, some of you may have been feeling it already. Some of you have been feeling it for a while. But this stuckness is presenting to you the opportunity to learn more and deeper about yourself, or to know yourself better. Because there are certain conditions that have been brought about in order for you to feel this stuckness. And this feeling of stuckness is what you are here to learn about. What is it that makes you feel stuck? Right? Now, chances are you're not stuck somewhere in a room and somebody else has the key and the door is locked. I'm not talking about that kind of stuckness. In other words, majority of you who are listening to this live in a free world. No one has you tied to a desk. At least I hope not. So stuckness is a feeling. Stuckness is a feeling. Stuckness is also an absence of something else. So if you are stuck, what is absent from your life to make you feel not stuck? Very interesting observation. What is missing in your life, or what is not in your life that is causing you to feel this stuckness? What is lacking, in other words? It could be a set of conditions. It could be something about yourself. It could be a version of yourself you're wanting to promote, but it's just not working. Whatever that is, remember, it boils down to a feeling. Feelings are often associated with memories. So if we have a lot of bad memories, sometimes those memories will get stuck in our brain, and these memories will constantly produce an unfavorable feeling. That's a trigger, right? Now, of course, we can't erase the future. The past, sorry. Past is gone. So we can't do that, but we can learn how to disconnect emotionally from whatever was. Now, part of my intention is to help you realize your potential, and by doing that, you drop density. In other words, by beginning to know yourself better and deeper, you realize things about yourself that make you realize the things you used to tell yourself in terms of who you are no longer relevant. They're no longer part of who you choose to be going forward. So you drop a belief. So this is very significant. This is very, very significant. Some of you are battling with fears around independence. Now, what could be a fear around independence? Fearing independence. So being too dependent on somebody else. Fearing independence would be taken away from you, and that produces often controlling type behaviors. Being not feeling independent in your own life. In other words, you feel like everything and everyone else is calling the shots but you. And there's various other versions of the idea of experiencing independence. But some of you have challenges, if you will, around the idea, fears around independence. So whatever those fears are within you, it's time you get to know it. Intimately, if you will. Get close to this aspect of you that you are so fearful of. Why? In order to understand it. So you're not being asked to walk through fire unless you want to. I wouldn't. Some people do, and it's amazing. That's not what's being asked of you. What's being asked of you is to no longer deny what is true for you, and how do I say it? It's so that you are no longer in the I don't know what's happening space, or I don't know why it's happening to me. I don't know why is knowing yourself ultimately begins to answer the questions why. You begin to see the deeper reason why, for example, you are stuck. Now, always remember this: evolution and consciousness is all about levels of understanding. By moving into higher frequencies, by vibrating higher, our level of awareness allows us to vibrate higher. Okay? Or we, in some extreme cases, connect to really high vibrations that literally catapult the ego aside, and because of it, you are imprinted with brand new awareness. So that can happen in many ways. You may have things like ayahuasca ceremonies, plant medicine ceremonies, other various ceremonies, hypnosis, anything of that nature that allows the mind to expand, that allows the logical thinking to be set aside for a moment in order to see what is beyond the human understanding. And that is what we are all seeking, to go beyond those boundaries. And boundaries is what keeps us in and boundaries is what keeps us stuck. Now, don't confuse with your boundaries and having boundaries. That's not the boundaries I'm talking about. I'm talking about boundaries that limit us or boundaries that limit you. So if you have fears around independence, that will limit your experience of being alive, right? Now, what was very interesting, and I just love this energy. It's just so investigative. I could just dive right in and just search for things and clues. This is how I look at it. Maybe that's something that you can think about in terms of learning about yourself, like an investigator looking for clues to solve a puzzle. Here's the problem. The reason why we have difficulty looking at ourselves is because we have this thing called judgment. We judge ourselves. We're very critical. Judgment is fear-based. Okay? Not all, but some judgment. Judgment is fear-filled often. So what I saw is that you are now going to have access, and you already have access, but I'm going to say it this way. You're now going to have easier access to all the information that you need in order to move on into bigger and better things, to move on into more of a balanced individual, and therefore more independent, ironically enough. Whether this access comes through you from, for some of you, I just heard automatic writing. Maybe this access comes from your intuition. You are becoming much more aware of your intuition, and you've been getting some pretty interesting intuitive hits, if you will. Maybe you are experiencing or have been experiencing or will be experiencing things like ceremonies with plant medicine, and that will completely shift your understanding of who you are as a person, as a being. Whatever this is, you are having easier access to this information. But here's what I want to say. It's not that you didn't have this access before. It's that your own separation within yourself did not allow you to see it. So this hinges on the idea of acceptance again. Acceptance to me is synonymous with self-love. Sounds to me like many of you are learning how to love yourselves or how to accept yourselves fully. And this message seems to come across in various ways, pretty much in every single sign. And I believe that it is incredibly important as one of the biggest pieces that we are here to learn about ourselves in a human experience. And that is acceptance. What is acceptance like? Accepting ourselves. Truly accepting ourselves for who we are. And we are not this. We are not the skin, the body. That is not who we are. We are temporarily using those organic forms as vehicles in order to experience life in a 3D world, life in a dense vibratory state. So however you come into this information, however you get this access, take full advantage of it. Some of you will be going to retreats early this year, and I see the idea of sweat lodge. So research what sweat lodge is to you, but sweat lodge is basically a shamanic ritual where you go into a darkened space that is in the shape of a womb, and there's hot water being put on hot rocks, creating steam. So it's a very spiritual ritual. Okay, it is meant to relieve the body and the soul of things that no longer serve us. Okay? So that's what some of you will be experiencing. Let's go through the cards very quickly, even though I don't feel I have to. No, I'm not going to go to cards again yet, because I've got more. For some of you, I saw you being put in a position of charge. And this is some sort of a commitment. So you have commitment to something or somebody, and you will be put in a position of charge. I'm not sure if you're asking for it or if it's coming to you and you accept it. Whichever way it comes, I see you wearing the, I want to say the word crown, but the crown is really the word independence. I see you wearing independence. Isn't that interesting? Because what I said at the very beginning, most of you or some of you have challenges around independence. So life is going to present to you a situation where you will be put in a position of a leader of some sort, and you will need to assert your independence. You know the saying, when a student is ready, the teacher shows up, where an experience is your best teacher. And of course, people in it. So don't be surprised for some of you if by the end of this year, you're going to not only be a leader, but you are actually going to see yourself and feel it in your body, a bodily sensation that you are a leader, that you are choosing to own your power. All of this is about owning your own power, by the way. So if you have been underestimating your power a lot, don't be surprised at yourself that by the end of this year, you look at yourself and you go, wow, I literally came out of hiding. So this is not going to be taking place just in January. It has its roots here in January, but it looks like it's going to be here for a prolonged time. I don't remember what the messages were for you on the 2020 6-month videos, which are, by the way, the link is below, by the way. I don't remember, but I do remember thinking, holy crap, what is that crap? The energy is extraordinarily powerful for 6 months. The other thing that I saw was, oh, by the way, whoever you are that is going to be put in charge, I heard you're ready for it. And then I heard you were always ready, you just didn't know it. And if you don't know something, it's hard to accept it, right? It's very hard to accept something you don't know, right? So it sounds like you are beginning to know your power, and as a result, you begin to accept it. You're ready. Whatever position life puts you in that denotes authority, you needing to be in authority, whether it's of somebody else, of a position, of a place, or of your own life. Most importantly, whatever that is, you can't fail at this. Hear me what I say. You can't fail at this. If you looked at everything in terms of fail or not fail, you'd not have any experience, because every situation has the potential to fail, except there is no fail, because we learn from when we fail. All right? Now, if you keep on doing the same thing over and over again and you come up with the same end result, but it's not the one you want, then I'm going to say, you might be failing in that department because you're not recognizing something very important. You're not learning. But I don't feel that's the message for most of you here. The message here is you're being put in charge and you're ready. You are always ready, you just didn't know it. Remember that. When that happens for you, when it's presented to you and you say, I can't, always remember, yes, you are ready, you are always ready, you just didn't know it. Accept it. Okay? The other thing was given to me was emotional passport to success. And I had to scratch my head and I just went, emotional passport to success. A very interesting analogy. And I thought, okay, what's passport? Well, passport is really to show that you're traveling to different countries, right? So what's an emotional passport? Oh, yes. You've gone to many places to understand yourself. Isn't that fabulous? I mean, spirit has a freaking sense of humor. So what you're after is an emotional passport, which means you're a frequent traveler to distant locations. Haha, no pun intended. And those destinations give you something as a result, a certain knowing, a certain understanding on an emotional level. That understanding is what allows you to keep your power. In other words, the word keep is being underlined, which means some of you, if not most of you, gotten too used to giving up your power or denying your power. You're a powerful being. If you deny your power, you can't use your power. For good, some people use it for bad, right? It is only when you accept that you have power, you can start yielding that power, okay? What makes a powerful person? A person that knows that he or she can. And therefore she will. And the rest is all about intention. Where is the person's intention? We all have access to power that is good or bad. I'm being asked to say that. I'm actually quite surprised. I'm being asked to say that. You have equal power to both sides. Okay? What differentiates you from using your power for bad is your intention to use it for good. In other words, you already have power. Use it wisely. If you were to see yourself as a powerful person, not necessarily powerful because you're running the country. Not that, I don't mean that. I mean a person who is in her or his own power. What would that feel like? Bet you would feel like amazing. I felt that a few times in my life, and it's beyond human understanding. Unfortunately, I only felt it for literally seconds because the sheer frequency was too much for my body. It's like electricity. You're that powerful, every single one of you. Yes, you too. What are you leaving behind? Whatever has been robbing you of your own strength, no more. You're choosing to no longer give your power away. Okay? Hear me. You are choosing to no longer give your power away, which means you have the power already. All right? For some of you, you need to relax around a person who represents King of Cups in reverse position. So this is going to be very, 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 very specific for some of you. So this person represents to me someone of authority figure that is emotionally unresponsive or not very forthright, withholds emotionally. And for some of you, you need to relax about this person because I feel this person gives you an anxiety. Whether it's in their unresponsiveness, it could be a female, whether it's in their unresponsiveness or their lack of having the ability to express emotionally, and that triggers your fears of security or insecurity, which, by the way, this person may be connected to your fears around independence, okay? And this person may no longer be in your life. They may no longer be alive. They may be someone who has, I almost want to say, infected you in some way, affected you in some way, okay? For some of it's someone who's passed already. Now, how can you relax around a person who is emotionally unresponsive? By understanding that it has nothing to do with you. Providing you haven't done anything on purpose to hurt this person, obviously, right? If we're talking about a person who emotionally is not able to express their love towards you, or have not been able to express their love towards you, you would have more likely than not developed some insecurities around whether are you being loved, feeling loved, feeling enough, feeling secure, all of these things, right? And all of these things, your level of assertion, all of these things will inflict on your ability to be and feel independent. So if you have dealt with someone like that, or this someone is in your life right now, and you are not hurting them deliberately, know that it has nothing to do with you. That is their own stuff that they have not healed. And by the way, you cannot heal it for them. You already know that. But what it does, it has absolutely made you too critical of yourself, and it has affected your levels of independence. your own value. So let's put it this way. It has affected your levels of your own value, which affects your ability to be and feel independent. Okay? But you are transforming that. Remember, that's the dense vibration that you are to drop, if you will. You are in a space of ascension where, energetically speaking, you are beginning to vibrate higher. By the higher vibrations being introduced into your energy field, certain things will come up to the surface of denser vibrations in order to be transformed. Because high vibration and low vibration don't mix. Not very well anyway. Okay? All of this is about you redefining yourself in terms of who you are. And that in turn allows you to embody your own power or accept your own power. Incredibly transformational. Incredibly transformational. I'm not sure how you're going to do it. For some of you, it's going to be through ceremonies. And for others of you, it's going to be in some other way. And I have a feeling this message, particularly for you Leos, and it's I have not felt it with any other sign, and I have one more left. This, I feel, is going to be, it could take as long as 6 months for this to come into your frequency for you to understand it. What I'm also seeing here is lately that my messages are not necessarily time-bound, and they're certainly not bound by a sign. Because the type of information that comes through is something that every single human can understand, depending on where they are in their life. So if you are drawn to a certain sign for no reason, and you hear something and it's a message and it resonates with you, it's a message for you. You were meant to hear it, regardless of when you're hearing it, if it's 4 months down the road or for what sign. When a message hits you, you know it. You know because it lands hard sometimes. Sometimes it lands so hard that you go, ah! You can't stand it. That's when you know it hit home. When it triggers something in you, for good or for bad, not that I'm naming emotions good or bad, there is no such thing. But if it triggers something in you, positive or negative, something hit home. So if you get hit in a way that doesn't please you, investigate it further. Because there was a pebble thrown to create a ripple effect. Very powerful message. I don't know if you feel it the way I do, but it's very, very, very powerful, very transforming. I think that's all I have. I wasn't planning on it to be this long. All right. I hope this makes sense to you at some point. I wish you a wonderful month of January. Happy 2020, of course. Again, I have a feeling it's going to be a massively, incredibly beautiful, powerful year, particularly for those of us who are focusing on dropping denser vibrations, mindfulness. If you would like a private session with me, that information is down below. For the January through June messages on Vimeo, that information is also down below. Thank you so much. I wish you best of luck. I'll see you in the weekly pulses, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye.